And it would appear that we are live. So it is currently 1:22 p.m. Pacific time. That means if you're not watching it at 1:22 Pacific time, you're not watching the live show. In which case, click up here. That'll take you to the edited version of the show. If you are watching live, or if nothing is there, then just wait until this. Am I putting in the right place? I am. Wait until that gets to 0, and that's when the show will start. You can just scrub ahead. If you're watching live, then sit tight. We'll be right back. So we still have a couple minutes to go and get the rest of my everything set up here. Who is here today? Say hello in the chit chat room. Let me get the chit chat all logged in here, opened up full screen. Hopefully you guys are doing all right this afternoon. I'm so used to doing the morning show. It's going to take some getting used to. It most definitely is going to take some getting used to. If you're in the chat room, do say hi. All right, let's get this back in place. Cape Cod CNC. Martin Greenville, Martin Greenville, Brian, Aaron, look at that. All kinds of folks in the chat room. Excellent. We are nearly ready to go. Let's get that in the right spot. I have been, you know, what's funny is we may very well get interrupted by UPS because usually they're here before noon or like 12:30ish. Here it's 1:30 here. They're still not here. I got a couple things that I actually am taking with me that are hopefully showing up today that I was going to show you, but they're not here. But if they get here, then we'll have an unboxing and a live show on the show. Hey, tell me how the dialogue is. It feels like it might be clipping a little bit. Let me know if it's clipping at all. I kind of think it is. But before I change anything, please do let me know, and I will make an adjustment if necessary. Let's see here. We still got, what do we got? Like 36 seconds. Well, we might start just ooh, we're already going to start a hair late. Yeah, you hear clipping. Aaron says, okay. All right, let me fix that. And I'm going to keep on talking to you. I'm going to walk away for a minute and grab something. I'm going to keep on talking to you, but let me know. Yeah, see, slight clipping is not okay. No clipping is okay. Tell me if this is any better. I've turned the gain down. I feel like it doesn't sound like it's clipping in my ear, but it might still be a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm relying on you guys in the live studio audience to tell me if the audio is clipping or not. It is very important that we are not clipping because clipping is bad. Clipping is unrecoverable. Clipping is not something that we can fix in post. All right, got to get my drives, And let's see what you have said. If you've said we're still clipping, good now, no clipping, much better, excellent, superb. Thank you very much. Mike's in a slightly different place. Also, the adjustment tools in this app, this is the app that controls the X-Air which is my audio interface. And the controls some of them have scroll capability. And I was like mousing over a slider and I accidentally scrolled and it just kind of went whoosh. And I was going, I have no idea where that was set to. Oh crap. So that's why that's like that. All right, I think we're good. Let's just start recording everything and we shall get on with the show. Everybody's agreeing the sound is much better. Superb. Oh, and Cape Cod says you're going to China in January. This should be good. Excellent. Incidentally, looks like my wardrobe here, doesn't it? It's like I just pile up my clothes in here. We are going to do a Q&A at the end of the show, so don't forget to get your questions in there. Make sure you put @PhotoJoseph in front of them. That helps me to find your questions when we go into the Q&A. All right, let's do this thing, shall we? Let's see here. I think I will start with this on. That's what we're going to do. Everything's recording? Everything's recording. Good stuff. Oh, incidentally, before I actually start, for those of you who are watching live, which is the only people who will actually see this, this is going to be the new Monday time slot. I'm going to start doing the Monday show at 1:30. And I'm actually going to be, and I hope not too many people get upset with me, but I'm actually going to reduce the shows per week to 2 instead of 3. I have been just massively overwhelmed and not leaving enough time to do a lot of things. So I'm reducing it down to 2 shows a week. There's going to be a Monday afternoon show, this time slot, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, and a Thursday morning show at the original time of 9:30. So basically, all the old time slots are totally gone. So I realize that's probably going to really mess up some people. Hopefully not too much, but that's what we're doing now. Okay? All right, good. All right, let's get on with the show, shall we? Where's the thing? There it is. I am finally ready to go to India, and I think it's time to find out what's in the bag. Welcome everybody to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live actually now 2 times a week. 2 times a week show here at youtube.com/PhotoJoseph. And I know some of you are going, what do you mean 2 times a week? I thought it was, we're changing things up a little bit. 9:30 a.m. is now only going to be on Thursdays, and there wasn't even a show on Thursday. It's now a new schedule. starting today, we are doing an afternoon show on Mondays at 1:30 p.m. and then a morning show on Thursdays at 9:30 p.m., 2 shows a week instead of 3. Now, I say that it's starting today, but the reality is that I'm actually getting ready to leave for India for a few weeks. So as soon as I get back, the real schedule will really start. But for now, this is what we're looking at. So with that said, let's get on with today's show. I am leaving for India tomorrow morning, and I have been packing this bag for a long time. I've put a lot of time, a lot of thought into this bag, into what I'm taking. I want to travel super light. It's about 25 pounds. That's pretty light. I want to travel super light and nimble. And the whole reason behind this is that I'm actually visiting 8 cities in 10 days, which means I'm going to be in most hotels only one night. And I want to ensure that I don't have to be dragging around a roller bag or carrying a second bag with me. I just wanted everything into a backpack. That means all my clothes, all my camera gear, all of everything else that I might need has to fit into one bag. Spent a lot of time researching bags, came up with this one right here. I'm going to show this to you first, and then we're going to start digging into the bag. This is from Think Tank. It's actually a Mindshift, part of the Mindshift acquisition, so it's a Mindshift Think Tank Rotation 180. And when I show you what this bag can do, I think you're going to be pretty impressed. So let's just start off with that. I'm actually going to, this is going to be a challenge here because I have all my wires on, so I got to try and do this without breaking anything. Try and buckle it all up, but let's see. Let's go for the studio shot here, and let me show you what this bag can do. All right, so clipped in, normal backpack, away we go, right? Try not to bump the mic too much there. Normal backpack, you can see how it fits on, you know, kind of a standard like day pack, backpackers type backpack. Where's the camera gear? All right, one of the things I didn't want to do was have to take my bag off and set it in the dirt to get to my camera gear. Here's what happens. Okay, little thing on the side here. I reach down and I release this, grab this, and you ready for the rotation part? Start dropping things, knocking things off. Normally that doesn't happen. And now, a little fanny pack. Inside of this fanny pack is my camera gear. The camera bag portion is a separate piece. This actually can be completely removed, which then slides back around into place like so. Has a little security thing, a little magnet. It's not like it's a security thing. It just kind of holds that in place. And one of these days I'll get used to getting that in. There we go. And that is the backpack. Kind of cool, right? There's a lot more to it, but that is the main feature of this thing. I think it's really, really awesome. Now let's take a look at what's inside of it after I pick up this thing that I dropped here. So what do you guys think of that? Kind of neat, right? Okay, so now let's start going through some of the stuff I've attached to the bag, and then we'll go into it. So again, hands-free being the key here. I've got the GoPro mounted on here. I've got this GoPro mount on here that I've talked about on the show before. This is in place. I actually might replace it with a Peak Design one. That's one of the things that's showing up today. I got to decide whether I like that one better or not. Over here, I've got a Peak Design clip that is for mounting the camera. The cool thing about this Peak Design clip is you can put it wherever you want, and I've been struggling with what's better, to have it here or down here. And then I realized I could actually put one in both places. That'll allow me to get it down there for some things and have it up here for others. So that's something that's coming today. Secondary Peak Design clip, so I can mount that into place totally hands-free. So I'm pretty digging on that. But with that said, let's get this thing off of me, fix my microphone cables, try not to tear them off. God, it's really hard to wear a bag and have all these wires sticking into you. And let's go in for the backpack. Let's go in for the camera gear part. Let's talk about that next. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out. And you can see how this whole thing comes out, kind of sorted. Now there's clothes in the way. But again, it just rotates out. Now since I'm not wearing it, it's just going to slide out. There is a little cable on here, a little strap that'll hold that in place. You can't just drop it. But now there is the camera portion of that. So let's set this guy down. And we'll get into the clothing stuff later. That's what I'm going to wear on the plane, so I guess we'll pick that up later. Let's take a closer look at this part of it. So pretty small, right? I mean, this looks pretty small here. Here's the thing, it is just the right size so that I can unzip this, take the iPad. So this is the 10.5 inch or whatever the current, just before the current generation, but the new ones are exactly the same size. iPad, and this fits perfectly into there. So let's do a quick top-down look here, which I now realize I need to zoom out. Let me fix that. So this is the top-down view. We're looking inside of the bag. You can see how the iPad just fits perfectly into there. Inside of this, I've got the gear that I'm taking. So let's just pull everything out, and then we'll go through it all. So you can see there's actually quite a lot of stuff fitting into here, as you'll notice when I start getting everything out of here. So I'm going to pull it all out, and then we can discuss exactly what's in there, and I'll explain my decision for each piece that I'm taking. There we go. I'll set this over here. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a little lid inside of here as well. A little Velcro lid. In there, I've got my Pelican case with my pro-grade SD cards. There's an extra battery in there, and I've got another battery hidden somewhere else in here. All right, let's set this down. Cape Cod is saying, will it pass for carry-on? It looks a tad big. It'll pass. All right, cameras, G9 and GH5S. Now, this was a big part of the decision. I know I was going to take the G9. G9 because I want to focus on still photography, but I'm also going to vlog. I don't need really, really high-end video capability for what I'm doing. I want to have a good video camera for vlogging, so I decided to go with this one. Right now, the autofocus on this with the body detection for video is really, really good. So for vlogging style stuff, I think it's going to be great. I'm actually going to be shooting at 1080, not even in 4K, because I know I'm going to want to do a lot of slow motion. So I decided, you know what? 1080. I'm just shooting 1080 all the way through. That way I can do the, 180 frame per second on here for the slow motion. It's going to be awesome. And I decided that's how I'm going to do it. So I've got that. Now, I was originally just going to go with just this camera. But I thought, you know, that's insane. You can't do a trip like this with just one camera. What if something goes wrong? You got to have a backup. So my first thought for backup was to take the GX85, right? The GX85 is awesome. It's this tiny little camera. I love this thing. I've had this one for years. It's a beautiful camera, super small and lightweight. But then I thought, well, hold on. If I take the GX85, obviously I need batteries for the GX85. I also need the charger for the GX85, because all of this is different than what goes in here, right? Different battery, different charger required. So then I took all of these things that I would have to take if I took the GX85. So I got the camera, 2 batteries, and a charger. And I weighed it up against the GH5S. And I realized that at this point, it was, I think, 20 grams lighter. The volume is about the same once you put all this together. And I thought, you know what? It actually makes more sense to just travel with another GE body. So I'm taking the GH5S, specifically the S instead of the regular GH5, because I'm not going to use it very often. It really is primarily as a backup. But this way, if I get into some super low light situation, especially if I'm doing video and I want to have the dual ISO that I've got in the GH5S, I have it. I also have the super slow motion, 240 frame per second if I want to get something crazy slow, but I probably won't use that. So those are the two bodies. So G9 and the GH5S basically as a backup. It's going to live in the case without a lens. That's basically, it's going to be its home. Lens choice. All right. 8-18 for vlogging. That's going to be my main on here when I'm walking around just shooting video. But, you know, when I'm shooting mainly stills, when I'm really focusing on stills, I like to have prime lenses. I've talked about that on the show quite a bit. I just prefer prime lenses. So we'll start with, what are we going to start? We're going to start with this. Yeah, we're going to start with this. We're going to start with this. Sorry. I was backwards there for a moment. This one just showed up today. This is on loan to me from Panasonic. I do not have one of these of my own yet, so this is going to be the first time I've used it extensively. This is the 12mm f1.4. Let's go for the close-up on here. Stepping on everything there. Let's see here. That is the Leica 12mm f1.4. Now, there's a possibility that I would just use this for vlogging and not even bring the 8-18. This could be a last-minute decision this afternoon. I need to do a little comparison there, see how I feel about that. It'd be great to go with one less lens, but it's obviously not as wide as the 8-18. Is it wide enough to be a vlogging lens? I don't know, we'll see. But the low light performance of this at f1.4 is fantastic. I've only really shot with this lens once and I loved it, and so this is going to be a chance to do that again. So that's the 12mm f1.4. Then the Zhongyi lens that I use all the time, the 25mm f0.95, super shallow depth of field, great low light performance, just a fun lens overall, small, lightweight, purely manual. Take that one. And then the Nocticron, the 42.5mm f1.2. I figure that I'm going to be doing a lot of portraits, taking pictures of people there, and I want that shallow depth of field. I want that portrait range lens, so that's what that is. And then if I need anything longer, I'm taking this tiny little 35-100. This is, so 70 to 200 mil equivalent. This is not a really great lens. It is a, let's see here, what is the aperture range on this? f4 to 5.6, so it's quite slow. But it does give me that reach if I need it. If I decide that I need that longer reach, I've got this. I don't want to take the big, huge 35-100, well, big, huge, I mean, it's only this big, but I don't want to take the big 35-100. I figure this will do it. So, yeah, I think this is going to be fine for that. I probably won't ever use it, but at least I've got it if I need it. For stabilization, I'm not taking a tripod. I know some people think that's insane, but I don't want to deal with a tripod. I don't like dealing with a tripod if I don't have to, so I'm just going to take the Platypod. This is the Ultra, the small one. I've got a little Manfrotto head on here that I ripped off of one of my other, MePhoto head on here, sorry, that I ripped off of a MePhoto tripod. This is great. And as you saw, it all fits within that one little bag. I'm waiting for UPS to show up. They were supposed to show up earlier, but they haven't been here yet. They might show up in the middle of the show. Anyway, so that's my stabilization. So that is the extent of the majority of the camera gear. There is one more thing that is just sitting on the top of my bag right now, and that, of course, is the microphone. So the Rode, this is the Rode Rode VideoMic Pro Plus that I just looked at last week. Just got it in, did some tests on it. Really, really liked where that came, how that came together. It sounds great. Still not thrilled about this thing sticking off the back of it, but there's not much that you can do about that. I did figure out, though, when it's on here, if it really is getting in my way, having that sticking off the back on there, I did realize that if I just unplug that, then it really is primarily out of my way. And my head still hits here, but it's okay. It's not as bad as when this is up. So if it's getting in my way, if I'm not shooting video, obviously, I can just unplug that. So, you know, it's still not ideal. I still wish it came out of the side, but it'll have to do. All right, that is, I do believe, everything photographically. Oh, the GoPro. We talked about the GoPro. You saw that mounted on there, the GoPro Hero 7. So that's going to be there for primarily for video stuff when I'm kind of going through the airports, walking through cities and towns and stuff, and I just want to have some kind of a transitional video. It's going to mostly be shooting the hyperlapse, time-lapse, whatever it's called, function. So that's primarily what that's going to be used for. Okay, that's all the gear. I do want to show you this. I'm not taking this with me, but this is part of that bag, that Rotation 180 bag. So the top part of the bag is, you're about to see, is just a big open space for clothing and that sort of thing. But if you wanted to have, make it into a camera bag, this is an extra insert that you can get for it. And so this gives you places to put more lenses, more camera bodies. So you can basically turn the big open spot inside that backpack into one of these. And then it also, you can also get a rain cover for it. Not taking this, it's not gonna rain, but if you're going somewhere rainy, you got a rain cover that's designed for that bag, sized for that bag. Okay, all right, let's give a moment here to just get some of this stuff out of the way here. And then we'll start getting other stuff out. All right, that's the extent, one more, almost forgot this. Neutral density filter. So someone on the show had mentioned, when I did a show recently about neutral density filters, and someone mentioned this company called Aurora Aperture that has apparently a very, very nice high-end filter. I reached out to them. They said, oh, we know your show. We love your show. We'd like you to try one of these out. Now, this is not the newest one, and it is the darker level. This is an ND32 to 2000. They didn't have the one that I would normally use for vlogging, so I have to take my older ND filter with me as well. But I am going to bring this one if I am in a situation where I have enough brightness where I can use it. And, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll end up being able to use it a lot more than I think. I will have that, so I'll be able to tell you guys what I think about this when I get back. But what's really cool about this, this is one of the features that I was really excited about. Look at this. See this little handle here? Can you hear this? It stops. It stops. So as you're rotating, you get to the brightest and darkest settings on it, it actually stops. It doesn't just keep spinning. I'm very excited to work with this. And apparently, it's a very high quality lens filter. Okay, let's get into the main bag. So I believe in packing everything inside of other bags. So this just makes life so much easier. So you've got, you know, DOP kit, little pills and things, clothing, bags of cables, bags of chargers, and bags of drones. Okay, drone, singular. This, I just took everything out of that main compartment. So I like to have everything in some type of other little bag in here. These first three bags, these are awesome. These are from Think Tank. These are the cable management system. There's a cable management 30, 20, and 10. So a variety of sizes of little bags. You can see they've got a clear window on them so you can see inside of them. This biggest one, I couldn't believe this. It fits perfectly the DJI Mavic Air. So I've got my Mavic Air in here, the remote controller, all three batteries, and the charger all fit inside of here. Like everything is in this one bag right here. So this is awesome. That is now the new home for the Mavic Air. The middle one here, which is actually quite loose, I don't have a whole lot of stuff in here. This middle one is storing Let's see here, lots of other little things. Let's just start kind of pulling through them, going through them. Got a suction cup mount. This is so that I can mount the GoPro onto the windshield of a car. We've got, oh, cleaners, good. Put it this way, the NAR box. So the NAR box, you've seen I've done a lot of discussion about the NAR box before. This is both backup and an editing solution. So I will back up all my media to this, and then I'll access my media from this onto the iPad Pro. Incidentally, I'm not bringing a laptop. You might have noticed that. I'm going to do all of my photo and video editing using the iPad Pro and the NAR box. So the iPad will be running Lightroom CC for all the photo editing and LumaFusion for all the video editing. So if you manage to actually see any vlogs while I'm away, if I actually manage to edit them and get them up online, they will all be coming out of LumaFusion, no Final Cut, no laptop with me. So that's in the bag. And then other little things, oh yeah, tiny little Samsung SSD drive. This one's half a terabyte. They make a terabyte size of this thing. Can you believe? I still can't get over this thing. I mean, it's just so, look at this tiny little thing. USB-C, super fast, super lightweight, and this gives you, this is essentially backup for this. So I copy everything from here to here as a secondary backup. And another GoPro battery. This is basically the power bag. Oh, SD card reader, Lightning SD, and a tiny little micro SD to USB, so I can take the media from the GoPro and from the drone and into here, and off we go. All right, that's everything in that bag. Now, the next one is charging stuff. So this is all the charging bits and bobs that I need. There is, starts off with the huge battery pack, the Goal 070. This is a big, like 1700 or something milliamp battery power monster thing. And then I also have in here, I've actually done a whole show on this, the Amorno little power plug thing. This is really slick for international traveling. It's one of these things where you've got, you know, there's your European plug, you got your UK plug, US, Australia. Look, it's US, and now it's Australia. But it's not just that it's a converter or an adapter to the plug. It also has, let's do a close-up on here. It also has, when I find them, there it is, a bunch of USB ports on the bottom and a USB-C port on the side. So you can plug a ton of stuff into this to charge from it. It does a maximum of, what is it, 5.6 amps max out total, and the plugs will do up to 2.4 amps each, obviously maxing out at 5.6 total. So pretty nice little adapter in there. These are the GH series battery chargers. This is the new charger that comes with the G9, and I don't think it comes with the GH5S. I think the GH5S still comes with the older one. Maybe newer shipping versions do. But this is the new one. It's smaller and lighter than the previous one, and this plugs in via USB. So you can plug this into this guy to charge the battery. So just a smaller, lighter solution than we had before. So I got two of these in here, and then just all the cables bunched up together. Every possible cable that I would need. So that is my entirety of my power system in there. So let's see here. That's all the camera. That's all that stuff. That's all that. Okay. Just, you know, personal care stuff. Obviously things like deodorant, toothbrush, hand sanitizer, beard balm, lip balm, toothbrush, toothpaste. Nails, it's just some tips for traveling, stuff like this. If you don't do big adventure trips like this one, I got saline nasal spray in there. Your nose gets dried out if you're in a really dry environment that you're not used to. It's something you might want to consider. Like I take that whenever I go to Las Vegas because I hate having a really dry, crunchy nose. That's great for that. Neosporin in case I hurt myself. I realize this bag makes me look like a hypochondriac. I swear I'm not. But it's a variety of things. You've got like headache medicine, diarrhea medicine. You've got I got a daily vitamin in here, a probiotic in here because I'm going to be eating all kinds of weird things in a weird environment. And I figure probiotic, let's get the gut levels up a little bit. Tylenol in case I got a headache. You know, little things like that. There is one thing that I wanted to point out in here. Oh, actually two. Hold on to that one. Little toothpicks with the floss, dental floss on them. Those are awesome. All this stuff, by the way, is linked down below. There's a link down there to a page on my website that has everything. Pepsid AC in case I get indigestion. Cold medicine in case I get a cold. It's kind of ridiculous, but there you go. And then the last one that's in here, it's one of these things. It's one of these tiny ones. If I can figure out which one it is. I swear, I'm not a hypochondriac. There it is. No, that's the Tylenol. Somewhere in here, I don't know, now I've lost it. There it is, melatonin. So here's a neat little thing. If you've never used melatonin before, research it. It's all natural. It's a chemical, or is it called a chemical? Chemical that your body creates when you go to sleep. This is in pill form, so you can take it to help you go to sleep, and it's really effective, and I've used this definitely before. It's very effective for recovering from jet lag, for getting to sleep when you need to sleep to get back onto schedule. I have discovered recently, and I'm going to be using it for the first time on this trip, a new app that is so cool. It's called Time Shifter. find my thing and plug this in so I can show you. Time Shifter will guide you through your sleep schedule to tell you when to sleep, when to be awake, when to take melatonin, when to drink coffee, when not to drink coffee, when to expose yourself to light, when not to expose yourself to light, to optimize your path towards recovering from jet lag. And the schedule isn't just when you get there what to do. The schedule actually starts multiple days before you leave. So you go into the app and you program in your whole flight schedule, where you're going from and to, when you take off and land, and so on. So it knows when you're on layover. It's not going to tell you to sleep on a layover. It knows how long your flight is. It tells you when to go to sleep on the flight, and so on and so on. And like I said, it actually starts a few days before. So since we're already into the plan, I'm going to switch up to choose my return plan. Let's see here. Let me get to the return plan. So that will show you what it looks like backing up. So let's do this. There we go. All right. Oh, no, we didn't get to the return. Let's see, view the return plan. So this shows starting a couple days before. So Thursday, November 29th is when this calendar starts. And you see it shows me I can drink coffee up until about noon. And then I got to stop drinking coffee. I should go to bed at 9 o'clock that night, so a little bit earlier. Normally I have it on a 10 to 5 a.m. schedule, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. schedule. That's my normal sleep schedule, so that you tell it that as well. It is telling me now for that first night that's on the schedule, take the melatonin, go to sleep at 9 o'clock, wake up at 4 a.m. The next morning, you see it shows when I can have coffee up until about 11 a.m. The yellow band there is showing me bright sunlight and then moderate sunlight. Now, obviously, at this point, I could be running around the city, so I can't really control the daylight, but I can control the coffee intake, right? Caffeine intake. And then there's the next night. It says to go to bed at 8 p.m. I get up at 3 a.m., so it's shifting a little bit. Then it has me taking a nap that day. If I can manage, I should take a nap between 9 and 10. That little blue happy face there, that's a nap time. Because then I've got a really long stretch of being awake and go ahead and drink that coffee. And then my first flight starts at 2 in the morning. You can see the little airplane on there. It says 2 in the morning is when that flight starts. Halfway through that flight, cut off the coffee. Then I've got a layover, and then I got on my next flight, which is in Japan. And so that's showing me in Tokyo time at 6 p.m. And I should immediately take melatonin and go to sleep. Sleep for about half of that flight, and so on and so on. So it really maps out the entire thing. And then even once you get home, what your schedule is at home for the next couple of days to ensure when you are or are not taking melatonin, when you are or are not drinking coffee. And the reviews on this are incredible. So Time Shifter is the app. It's a free app. You get one download, one itinerary for free, and then they have a $25 a year plan. I think I saw something about like a $10 one-off purchase, but $25 a year. So if you're traveling, more than a couple times a year, it could be totally worth it. So I've never used it before until now. I'm trying it out now. I was up at, what time did I wake up this morning? 3 o'clock this morning for the schedule. Tomorrow I wake up at 1 a.m. to be on the schedule. It's super, super interesting. So I will obviously tell you all about that when I get back and how effective it was, but the reviews on that have been tremendous. Okay. That was all this stuff I wanted to go through. That's that and that. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, the clothing. Ha, very important part of it. Okay. Who's going to clean up this mess? Seriously, this is ridiculous. Okay. The clothing is an important part of this, a very important part of this. You might have noticed when I pulled this stuff out, I said, this is my clothing. This is the entirety of my clothing. And I know some of you are thinking, are you insane? No. I have purchased, most of this is new. Some of these things I already had, but I have purchased all new clothing that is designed specifically to be worn repeatedly, to be easy to wash and dry. Wash it in the sink, dry it out at night, just hang it out, dry by the next morning. To be odor-free, it's all kind of special materials. They're all fairly expensive stuff, but this stuff really, really works. So in here is a spare shirt, pair of socks, underwear, one pair of socks, one pair of underwear. There's actually 2 pairs of socks in here, and the shirt, and that's it. I'm going with 1 pair of pants, 2 shirts, 2 pair of underwear, 2 pair of socks, and that's the entirety of it. So let's start with the pants because these pants are so cool. Company that makes these is called Clothing Arts. Again, links to all this stuff down below. These are the Clothing Arts travel and pickpocket-proof pants. Pickpocket-proof. How do you make pants pickpocket-proof? I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to give you a full demo of everything, but I'm going to show you one pocket to give you an idea of what it is. All the pockets on here are designed like this. They're all a little bit on the crazy side. So let me get a close-up shot set up. Where's my close-up? All right. Oops. I need to get a different cable on here because I keep unplugging this camera every time I go in to move it. Okay. So here's your standard side pocket. This is my, stick my hand in my side pocket. First of all, it's got a zipper. That's pretty obvious. You got a zipper. Okay, great. You have this extra button on here. This is kind of your last measure of security. The idea here is like you're getting on a subway or something. You're going to be totally packed in. You're going to be packed like sardines. You have no idea who's going to be bumping up against you. You close that up, and you've got this button and the zipper. Okay, so that's cool, right? That's like a pretty good level. Let's open that back up. I'm not going to close that again. Open the zipper. Okay, now I got my pocket, right? Well, inside of this pocket, if I open it up like this, you'll see there is another zipper pocket. A little zipper inside of here, and that will actually hold, where did I put my phone? Somewhere around here, set it down. There it is. This inside pocket will actually fit my iPhone 10. So that can go in there and then zip up. And then if I wanted to, I could zip this. And if I really wanted to, I could close that. So triple level 3 levels of protection. Open this back up again, and there's another hidden pocket in here. If you look right here, so there's your main pocket. Here there is a little Velcro tab for a secondary pocket inside of that. So this is a great place for a wallet, and it fits my wallet just perfectly. So you've got all that. The back has something like that as well. In the back, there's a place for your passport that fits perfectly. You open this up, there's a second zipper inside of here. It's a bunch of hidden pockets, pockets within pockets, and the whole idea, again, is that it's pickpocket proof. That's their intention. That's their marketing slogan. So we're gonna give it a try. These are made out of, I don't know, whatever, some special material blend so that you can wear them all day long, or all week or 2 weeks or whatever long. And if I do decide to wash them, I can dry them out overnight, hanging up. Okay, that's that shirt. I have 2 different shirts. Again, special material. It's like a polyester blend, wrinkle-free, dries out super quickly, lightweight, very comfortable. I've worn everything to kind of test it out a bit. You've seen this. I was wearing it in the video the other day. It's just nice, slightly stretchy, really comfortable, nice shirt. Even this one has a pseudo hidden pocket, but an extra pocket in here so you could like stash some cash in there or something like that. But I got 2 shirts. I got this one. This was a company called Royal Robins. You can get these on Amazon. The other one that's in here is from REI, so you can only get it from REI. But this one, same idea, kind of a cool color. Open up. It's long sleeve button-up shirts, extra pockets, again, designed to be worn, washed and worn, off you go. Even the socks are important. So 2 pair of socks in here, and I'll show you why they're both in here. The one that I'll wear on the plane is set out separately. These are from a company called Darn Tough. Darn Tough Vermont is the full name of the socks. I got a high pair and a short pair. Again, these are designed to not smell. They're kind of odor resistant, whatever it is they do, microbial, I don't know, whatever. Designed to be worn many, many days. Wash them in the sink, they'll dry by morning. I've tested all of this, totally works. The reason that I picked these up, and these are not cheap socks, they're like $15 to $20 a pair. They have a lifetime warranty for one. If you manage to get a hole in it somehow, they will replace them. I don't know how you stay in business doing that, but there you go. But at the local travel shop, and you can get these on Amazon, again, link down below as well. The local travel shop, they told me that all of the PCT hikers wear these. That's the Pacific Crest Trail. I live in Oregon. The Pacific Crest Trail is a hiking path, if you've never heard of it, that goes from California all the way up through Washington. It goes from the Mexican border to the Canadian border. So it's one of those big hikes that all kinds of people do. It's, I don't know how many thousand miles. It's crazy. It takes like all summer to do. But PCT hikers wear these. That's good enough for me. If PCT hikers wear them, then we're good. Even the underwear, I'm not going to pull them out for you, but even the underwear are special microbial, blah, 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 fast drying underwear. Awesome. Okay, so there's that. The socks that I will wear on the airplane, though, are a little bit different. These are compression socks. These are graduated compression socks. Now, I've never bought these before, but this trip is about 33, 34 hours of travel from airport to airport. That's not even door to door. It's gonna be like 40 hours door to door, some crazy thing. These are tight at the bottom, and then they get less and less tight as they go up. There's like 3 or 4 levels of pressure on there. The whole idea is to help with blood circulation, help you from getting clots, all that. You know, if you're 18, it's probably not such a big deal. I'm not anymore, and so it just seemed like a good idea. And they're super, super comfortable. So the really high socks put that pressure on your legs, graduating up. Seems like a good idea. And then the scarf, this is a Middle East style shamag scarf. It's a square, you fold it in half as a triangle, and the reason I'm doing this is because you can wrap it over your head and over your face. So if I'm in somewhere where it's either really dirty or a lot of wind or dirt blowing around or whatever it might be, I have a way to completely cover my head and face, but still have my eyes exposed so I can shoot and so on. So that's this. Plus it's just a nice big thing I can, you know, it's a scarf if I get cold somewhere and so on. I think that's actually everything. If I forgot anything in the video, the list down below is very long, so it's all in there if there's anything that I forgot. And that, I believe, is everything that I'm taking. So with that, we're going to jump into the Q&A. I see a few questions popping up in the live chat here. So if anybody has any questions about what you've seen or have any suggestions on other things I should take, I've got about 6 hours to get stuff before I shut down for the night and then go to the airport in the morning. But if you have any feedback, comments, or thoughts on this, either drop them into the comments if you're not watching live, or if you are watching live, then drop them into the live chat, and we'll take a look at them right now. Greetings and welcome back to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. We are talking about all this gear. I can't believe I've made this much of a mess that I am taking with me to India. I know it looks like a lot. The bag is about 25 pounds. I weighed it. It's not like it's super lightweight, but it is everything that I need for a couple of weeks, and I think it's going to be okay. So we are in the Q&A portion of the show. Let's see what's going on. Let's see here. Pull up the chat room here. Remember, if you're watching live, if you have a question, make sure you put @PhotoJoseph in front of the question. That way I see it in there. If you already typed your question and you didn't put that in, just copy and paste it in again at the end. Put @PhotoJoseph in front of it. That way I see it on my screen like you see here. Sarah says, have you considered head-mounted mics for this show? No. Well, I shouldn't say I haven't considered, but I know that I'm not going to use them. There's a very good reason for that. Well, there's a couple good reasons. Number one, I don't like having a thing that's hanging out here. But number two, I used to actually use one. I have a very nice Countryman, yeah, I think it's Countryman mic that I used to use for all my theater stuff when I did theater presentations all the time. That was what I used. I had to stop using that once I grew a beard because the wire, the little line, rubs up against the beard there, and you hear that noise through it. So I can't wear a head-mounted mic anymore. Not without it being like something that goes around and then you look like Madonna on stage. I ain't doing that. No, the lav mic has worked out really, really well for me. So no, we'll stick with this. Cape Cod, you had asked before, will it pass for carry-on? Yeah, it's totally fine. And remember, I can, if necessary, I could take the camera bag portion off of it, and then it's now 2 pieces. Totally fine. No problem at all. SRO Digital says, are you hiring a Sherpa? No, I am the Sherpa. I am the Sherpa. Eshe says, did you find a traveling companion to carry your camera equipment? Nobody's coming with me on this trip, and that's just fine. That allows me to just really not have to worry about anybody else. It's just me traveling solo. Little confession here. I never did the backpack your way across Europe thing after high school or after college or whatever. I didn't do that. And I kind of wish that I had, right? It just didn't fit into my life at the time, or maybe it wasn't important. I don't know. Anyway, I never did that. And so this is like a very miniature version of that. I mean, I've actually never gone on a trip like this with just a backpack that wasn't a camping trip, right? That's camping stuff's different. But I've never done a trip like this with just a backpack. I'm really excited to see how this whole thing turns out. Now, this is not like roughing it. I mean, I'm staying in nice hotels. Let's be honest here. It's, it's going to be okay. But I do not have a second bag to carry, nothing dragging behind me on wheels, nothing in my hands. I'm really looking forward to this for that. I really, really am. So, no, I am traveling on my own, but that's okay. Now, remember, the whole purpose of this trip is scouting for the workshop that I'm doing next year, beginning of next year. That's the whole reason I'm doing this trip. And it's not just for that workshop, but for other workshops as well. So I'm doing 8 cities on this tour. In the workshop, we're doing 4, but New Delhi doesn't really count because it's just basically a stopover before we go home. So really, we're doing 3 cities on the tour in January and February of next year. The other cities that I'm looking at this trip are for future workshops. So that's the whole idea here. And there is still room on the January workshop if you want to come. Just go to photojoseph.com/India and learn all about that. As she says, would love to travel with you, trying for a future workshop now. Well, come on, join me. Sarah, for such long flights, are you changing your clothes while on the plane? I've heard that helps a bit, as well as having showers during layovers if possible. Okay, well, definitely not changing clothes, and I'm barely changing clothes on the entire trip, so I'm not going to start on the airplane. Showers are lovely if you can get them. I am not flying business class. I will not have access to lounges. You guys want to hear a story? It's the Q&A portion of the show. This is why I can take as long as I want. I used to fly a lot more. It seems most people who look at me today and look at my life today think that I travel a lot. I really don't. I actually almost never make status on a single airline anymore. Where I used to have executive platinum on American, that's your top 100K miles flown per year status. I'm a million miler on American Airlines. But now I fly United because that's from the airport that I am here. That's where I get most of the flights. And I almost never get status. I actually will get status this year because of this trip. And it's, November. So, I almost never get status. But back in the day when I traveled all the time, and I had executive platinum. And I would fly economy or premium economy, and because of my status, I would quite often get upgraded. So I had, quite often get upgraded to business class, or if you're flying domestically, first class. I had a couple of years where I think I flew economy once in a year because I was always getting upgraded domestically. Pretty good, right? So this goes back years and years ago. I was on a trip. This is when I was still at my formal job, and I was on a business class airfare that was a round the world ticket. I was on this big, huge, multi-week long trip. That's nice to be able to fly business class or something like that. And so I had access to the kind of premium lounge in most of the airports, and I was in the Hong Kong airport. And I had, in the Hong Kong airport, it wasn't a layover. I think I was in Hong Kong for part of the tour and then flying home or something like that. Anyway, so I go into the Hong Kong lounge, and I had read that in the Hong Kong lounge, there is a secret, Cathay Pacific, by the way, it's Cathay Pacific Lounge, that there is a secret room, these little cabanas that have like total private little space, decompression space, whatever you want to call it. But you have to know about it. You have to ask for it. Nobody tells you about it. And I read about it somewhere. And so I get to the Hong Kong airport, and I'm like, so I heard about these cabanas? And it's like I said the magic word, oh, yes, sir, right this way. And the steward, or whatever, the person there, takes me through a hidden door in the wall. I swear to God, it's a hidden door in the wall. Opens it up, and it's this long hallway, and there's a bunch of doors flanking the hallway. Oh. Opens one of the doors. This one's for you, sir. It is a 2-room cabana. One of the rooms has a bathtub, a full-on bathtub, and there's a shower and a toilet and all that stuff. And the other room has kind of like a chaise lounge type of a thing. So you got this really long loungy area. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is kind of cool. And she says, if you need anything, just pick up the phone, whatever, call whatever food, drink you want. Okay, so I didn't have a lot of time, so I get a snack or whatever. I'm kind of enjoying this. And then I found out my flight is delayed. It was like quite a bit, a couple hours. Go. Well, I got this room. I'm not going to give this up. So I drew a bath. Set up a bubble bath. Call in, ask for some champagne. So I'm on an airport layover, sitting in a bubble bath, drinking champagne. And now, at the time, I was dating the girl who's now my wife, Alenka. We were dating, and she is from Slovenia, and she was at work in Slovenia, and I'm in Hong Kong on layover. And I pull up my laptop, and I set it at the end of the bathtub, and I call her on Skype while she's at work. And she picks up the call, and she's like, what the hell? I thought you were flying. I'm like, flight delay, I'm taking a bath. So I had this bubble bath in the airport, conversation with her. Too funny. So anyway, so that was the best lounge ever. I'm sure it's still there because that was such a great lounge. Cathay Pacific in Hong Kong. If you're ever there, you're flying business or first class, you have access to the lounge. Ask for the cabanas. Of course, they might be renamed and totally different now. That was quite a while ago, but there you go. And then the final cherry on that whole trip was that final flight was delayed so many times that by the time we were taking off, we should have already been in San Francisco. This is from Hong Kong. I was very fortunate in that I had this lounge to hang out on the entire time. And this is like, they got full-on restaurant there. It's everything. It's like a little paradise. You don't need to leave. But I had kept going up to the desk every couple of hours. This is before iPhones even, I think. Like, what's going on? What's the status of the flight? And at one point, understandably, even though I'm sitting in a freaking bathtub, you get a little irritated with this extremely delayed flight. And I did that, executive platinum, flying business class around the world. What are you going to do for me to make this better? And he takes my ticket, he looks at it, types something on the computer, tears up my ticket, hands me a new one. First class upgrade, sir. First class on Cathay Pacific is kind of nice. Anyway, so there's that very long rambling story. I hope you enjoyed that. Right, let's see here. Anything else going on in the chat? Amanda says, shame you can't legally bring and use a drone there. Where? India? I checked. India says drones were fine. If you know otherwise, tell me now, because otherwise I'm taking this. I got my drone right here. If I can't use it, I'm not going to take it. But from the research I did, it said India was fine. So Ananda, please clarify that. That would be very, very bad. Sarah says, thanks for the story. Well, you're quite welcome for the story. It was fun. I like telling that story. I think all my friends have heard that story by now. They're like, please, again, it's a good story. All right, Ananda, give me some information. Oh, it's SR Digital. Here we go. Let's bring this up here. There we go, SR Digital. So that's where Casey Neistat got his idea from for his most expensive plane ticket series. Yeah, right. Yeah, his ticket, those are pretty good. Man, yeah, when I was flying, that was long before, what's that airline? Emirates that does that. That has the whole suite thing, isn't it? That's cool. That'd be nice. But no, alas, I'm flying economy. Just bog standard in the back economy. I did manage to get aisle seats, which is what I prefer. I don't like windows. I don't like having to climb over people. I hate climbing over people. I'd rather just, I'll get up out of people's way. I do not like climbing over people, and I do not like asking people to get out of the way so I can get up and go to the bathroom. I like to get up a lot, walk around, stretch a whole bunch. Yeah, aisle seats for me. Okay. Ananda is not clarifying your comment, so Ananda, if you are still watching this, if you've just fallen asleep or something, let me know where you say you can't bring and use a drone, because like I said, as far as I know, it's for India, I can. That was my research, so, oh, there we go. Not at all, she says. Ooh, let's bring this up. It does have to be an Indian citizen, otherwise you cannot register a drone. However, a friend who somehow manages to sneak his Spark through customs. Huh. Okay, do me a favor, Ananda, drop me an email. Drop me whatever. Just reach out to me. Twitter, PhotoJoseph on Twitter. Let's have this conversation a little bit more, because that is not what I have learned. But if you know this to be a fact, then that would be, I don't want to take this thing and not be able to fly it. Okay, with that, we're going to wrap up this show. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I will. Next time I see you, I'll be in India. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but somehow or another, I'll be in touch with you guys. Take care. Bye bye.